what I do is I work with people, helping them build a personal brand and also helping businesses build a brand. But I almost kind of hate the word brand. Well, you'll find out why. It's kind of like a weird relationship with the word brand. So, but anyways, my father was an entrepreneur when I was younger, and I always looked up to him, and I could see him building painting businesses, and then he built these landscaping businesses that were just huge. And like sometimes I feel like we don't really appreciate what our parents do. Like I think we get later on in life, and then we realize we're like, I didn't even realize how cool that was.
Until you
Getting
don't
to see
have it.
that. Exactly. Yeah. So I look back and I see my dad the same way. Like he was an entrepreneur, and he really inspired me to go where I am now. And so I can truly like look back now. I wish I could have appreciated it sooner, but like I'm just now seeing like, wow, that's so cool. It inspired me to go forward. I spent like 3 years like failing in the online space, like everything that every guru ever would sell you, the e-com drop shipping, like, I don't know a ton of your background, but like I tried all of this stuff and nothing worked. Like nothing worked for like 4 years. Something finally worked. I clicked. I jumped into sales. I had been doing photo and video for like 3 years, jumped into sales, I closed like 2 million in like 9 months.
No shit.
Closed not 2 million in revenue, not commission, just to be clear. But did that in like 9 months. I was the youngest person on Taylor Welch's businesses, any of his teams, at like 19 years old, was doing all that. And then went to start my own business in May, found out maybe this isn't really the thing I want to do. I'd rather work with somebody who has a bigger vision and has the time and the resources and the drive. Like Taylor is such a cool human being to work with. I was like, dude, I would rather just go work for this guy full time and do some other stuff on the side, because this is like totally different experience, and I love the dude's vision. So yeah.
Such a good opportunity. So first of all, what is a brand? I know you said you kind of don't like the word of a brand, but I think whatever kind of how it's viewed, I think it's very important in the world we live in today. Can you explain what exactly you would define a brand as?
Yeah. And I would start with like why I find the word brand kind of weird, because I think a lot of business owners get really turned off the moment you say that, because they think, okay, this guy only thinks about my graphics and the fonts, and like none of that stuff matters, and data driven and this numbers. Like it's like, dude, okay, you got to pull that back for a second.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I had the weird relationship with it, is because people think design. But to answer the question, like what is a brand? A brand it's so simple. You ready? It's super simple.
Yeah.
It's what people think of you when they see you or anything of you. That's it. Starbucks. We can dive into that if you want, but that's about as simple as I can keep it.
Yeah. So what sort of benefits do you see as a brand? Like you see brands like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Obviously, when someone thinks of soda, you're going to choose 99% of people would choose Coke. Why is it that Coke has such a consumer reputation with people versus Pepsi? How does that sort of branding relationship with the customer play out?
And I think like I look at Coke and I look at Pepsi, and like I think Pepsi, like my opinion, I think it tastes better. Just my opinion. I think it tastes better.
Yeah.
But unpopular opinion. But what I do see a lot with the Coke brand, and this is gonna unlock a lot of people right here, is your brand has to connect. You have to emotionally connect with somebody to get them to respond / buy or get the sale.
Yeah. So how do you do that?
Well, look at Coke.
Yeah.
Dude, you ever see their branding where it's like share a Coke with Joy, or share a Coke with like, or with like Gabe, or this person or that person or Andrew, and you're just like, oh, cool. Like there's a personal connection at that point. And I know it sounds kind of like weird and like woo woo, but like literally like there is that connection. When I think of Pepsi.
Yeah. All right. So should everyone have their own brand? Because you see like Gary Vee telling people that if you miss your mark in branding in the next decade, the next platform is going to really make you pay. Like as a brand strategist, what do you say to that? What, like, should only the bigger companies have brands? Should everyone have their own individual brand?
When you say everyone, do you mean like literally everyone, or do you mean like just business owners?
I mean, every entrepreneur, whether you're doing business online or you're not, should you have a brand?
I don't think the question is should they have a brand? It's like, what is their brand?
Yeah.
I heard Taylor say this the other week. It's like, if you are not actively pursuing the reputation of your brand, it will be made for you.
Yeah, I like that. Wow. Okay.
So,
And then so in today's day and age, there's a lot more ways to spend your dollars, whether it's digitally or billboards or direct mail campaigns, whatever it is. These skills like copywriting, video editing, graphic design, they're all in high demand.
yeah.
Where have you noticed like that's been pretty consistent is an effective use of advertising dollars? And then where do you see these effective uses of advertising dollars being driven to in the future?
Mm. Dude, I think that is very, very nuanced based upon the entrepreneur, the personal brand. For us, like what we're doing with Taylor, it makes more sense to go more the micro influencer route. You know what I mean? Like more
Yeah.
influencers promoting him directly versus running a YouTube ad or running an Instagram ad to follow him. Like that just doesn't really make sense. So I think it all depends, dude. Like we can do some examples if you want to kind of dive into that a little
Yeah,
bit.
no,
But
let's dive deeper into that. Let's see what kind of campaigns you guys are running, what sort of returns you're seeing, and just break that down a little bit for me.
so with Taylor's brand, we haven't started running any ads yet, dude. We literally are launching his YouTube like this week.
Yeah.
Legit. Like we're just launching that. But Taylor's main platform right now is actually Twitter. He got to like 28,000 followers in like, I think it was like maybe 4 6 weeks, something like
Wow.
that. Like he's been exploding on Twitter.
Yeah.
What he is doing is he's running some ads to some posts, but dude, it's like mostly organic. Like he's getting like a
Hmm.
million impressions a day right now.
Yeah.
It's really weird. So like right now we're not running tons of ad campaigns for that stuff just yet. But what we are going to do for Taylor specifically is we're going to run it to micro influencers, potentially a few TV shows. We're not
Yeah.
sure yet. But that's what we're looking at because that's what makes sense from a personal brand standpoint.
So what are you guys working on now? Are there certain brand strategies you're working on right now? Like what are you working on?
Currently just like building the automated systems. Like I
Okay.
think we're pretty early in the stage, man. I think we're a lot earlier in the stage maybe than you realize. Is
Yeah.
like Gary Vee has been doing this for a little while. So he's got the systems in place and he's got the
Yeah.
people in place, and that's awesome. So we're building for us, we're having to build the inside pieces of okay, the content team, the publishing team, the producing team, like all of that stuff is probably going to take at least a year to build out.
Yeah.
But we're already making really, really fast progress, like way faster than I've seen a lot of people in the space do it at a
Yeah.
pretty high level too.
And so building out in terms of like teams, what are the most important roles you should fill in teams of people that should represent your brand? I know it definitely varies across different industries, but like to represent a brand, should you always have a video editor, social media manager, um,
Yeah.
marketing strategist? Like, what does that look like? What roles should you be filling?
With branding, dude, it's like I said, it's very subjective. It's very subjective, right? Because some people really don't need, like, they don't need a 500,000 a year payroll
Yeah.
team for personal branding. Some people only need like maybe a 20K a year or maybe a 10K a year. You know what I mean? It
And by that, you
depends.
mean what, VAs in across the Philippines or something?
VAs and directors and
Yeah.
who's like, dude, because sometimes personal brands are like a whole freaking like film crew with like four with like 8K red cameras and like it's just like kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And then other times it's like you just need like your Canon camera walking around with a Rode mic and like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
your personal brand. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
there's TikTok. I just met a guy 2 nights ago. He just got like 600K on TikTok in like a few months, just literally filming with his phone up against the wall. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like
Yep.
it's crazy. But I will answer your question with I think honestly, I think one of the most important pieces is the video editor. That might be kind of a weird thing to say, but I think it's the video editor. And here's why. What you say and how you say it can be totally misconstrued.
Yeah.
Totally misconstrued. If your video editor knows what to look for and what to pull out and what to take,
Yeah.
that can either make you look like a hero or make you look like the villain.
Yeah.
And all I have to like, it all makes sense inside of watching something like The Bachelorette or The Bachelor, like watching just like a reality show. that's exactly what happens. Whoever's editing it is what makes it change everything.
Why is it in today's generation, especially with social media, you see a lot of these people who get really good at marketing, and they'll sell you on their courses and almost this get rich quick scheme, their education programs, but they don't actually do the business. They have no personal brand, but they're sometimes crushing the sales just because they're good at copy, they're good at graphics, they're good at marketing and finding their demographics. Why is it that so many people are falling for like these type of scams? And then how is it that like they have no brand, but they are continuing to push their sales through the roof?
Okay. You ready for this one? We might need a few minutes on this one, dude.
Let's dive into it.
Yeah. So I see this a lot. Like, and I think like the overall arching thing is like these people are weak. Like I think that's messed up to scam
Yeah.
people and do those things. But the reason why it's happening is because you can do really good marketing on the right audience and totally tell them because you can overpromise and you can oversell and then totally like under deliver, right? Anyone can,
Yeah.
I feel like anyone can do that, right? Because you
Yeah.
don't have to do the refunds but what does it cost you? I think there's a scale in my life. I see there's a scale to everything.
Yeah.
Like 9 out of 10 times. It's like, okay, I make a lot of money really fast, but my reputation is going to suffer. My
Yeah.
reputation is going to be really great. Maybe it's going to be a little bit slower, you know?
Yeah.
So I actually saw a business do that. They weren't a scam. They're actually a really awesome business, but they scaled and they only did it through paid marketing and they didn't have the personal brand. They were doing 1.5 to $2 million a month. They had
Yeah.
like no organic. It was all paid because you can go really deep, right? You can have the funnel and go really deep and then get them to buy the high ticket offer, or you
Yeah.
can go really wide, or you can do both to where it's deep and wide to where they find you at the top and they can see everything in the middle and then decide if they want to keep going down, and going down just makes it easier.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the reason why people can do that, man. And I'm not going to name any names to people not a fan of, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I think these people are just kind of, I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I think they're kind of dumb because like long term, can you sleep at night? Do you feel good about what you do? Like I don't know about you, but like, I'm sure you feel the same way. Like I want to feel good about what I do.
Yeah.
And I want to know that what I'm doing is changing lives. And if it comes at the cost of monetary value, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I don't mind losing out on money if it helps me sleep at night and I can actually take care of people, because my long-term goal is to impact. If my long-term goal is just to take care of me, then like I've gained absolutely nothing.
Yeah. So you think that it'll catch up to them? I mean, it makes sense, but at some point, there will be a time frame where it catches up to them, and they won't have much more like they've kind of dug themselves into a hole. Would you say? Because right now they can put their own testimonials on their website, and they can put their own almost like biased opinions and testimonials on their website, so that it looks like they are the real deal. But when it comes to like actual producing of results and like people that have gone through the programs, there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Like that, so it'll definitely catch up to them, would you say? Or
Sometimes it'll catch up with them. The reputation will suffer. They'll launch a new product and it's going to just crash. And people are like, I literally know of a guy right now who he banked everything on somebody else's offer. I won't name his name, but like literally destroyed his name in the sales space. Everyone called their company a scam. Like they would promise these big things and it was just a massive pyramid scheme. Guy goes out and starts his own business and gets nothing but hate online for hard
Mhm.
closing people. And just like it hurts people a lot.
Mhm.
So like I know that probably has to bug him, but like now every business that he starts from here on out is going to hate him. He
Yeah.
probably had like 4 or 5 months where he did like maybe 20 grand in revenue,
Yeah.
like in terms of his own bank account. Every month after that he suffered.
Yeah.
That's the cost of like putting money before your morals, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What are you trying to build differently than someone who's just trying to build a business? Like how are you trying to build it differently? How do you look at things? What are you trying to look more thoroughly into and put more effort into?
That's a good question, dude. Um, I think the biggest thing is it's focusing way less on the transaction and focusing way more on the transformation,
Yeah.
being more relational than you are transactional. There's
Yeah.
so like we're talking about like the gurus who are it's all transactionally based, right? Their brand is all it's and even if they don't have a brand, like that brand is going to be made for them of a horrible reputation in the market, but it's all transaction based. It's all
Yeah.
transaction based. It's like I give you this, you give me this. It's like where's the relational? Where's the relational value? Let me pour into you. Um, so what we're creating with Taylor and anybody like I just got done talking to someone yesterday and I think they're feeling that themselves a little bit. And they're like, how can I just pour into people and help them win? Kind
Yeah.
of like the Hormozy style, right? The $100 million
Yeah.
offer. You read that?
I have.
Dude, isn't it good? That
It's
stuff's
very
like,
good. Yeah. Yeah.
it's amazing.
He's
But
he's really smart.
he is, man. He's super cool. Um,
Um, um so what keep going.
I was gonna say the one thing that I think I love about Hormozy is that he's like his line is like, I have nothing to sell you, right? I have nothing to sell you.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to just help you win to get you to a place. And people are like reading this book and they're like, what is going on? They're like, why is this guy giving away all of his stuff for free?
Yeah.
I've seen his stuff. Like, dude, I've personally paid over 10 grand to get access to the stuff that he's now putting out for free.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
like, how is he doing that? That's what I think is so different right now is people are focused, like need to start really getting out of the transactional mindset in their brand,
Mhm.
in their business, in their lives, get out of this transactional way of thinking and get into the relational. It's who you know. It's literally who you know that gets you into the right rooms. It's who you know that actually buys your product. It's like the connections at the end of the day,
Mhm.
the relationships and just pouring into people. One, it makes you a better human being, but two, it drives everything that you're doing in your life.
So how do you make these connections? Are you just reaching out to people through social media? Are you just saying hello to people on the street? Like how do you make these type of high level connections?
I think for me versus like the average entrepreneur, and I'm not like I think just having access to like Taylor's network makes it a lot easier for me.
So find
But
access to one person and really
yeah,
dive into that.
find access to like one amazing millionaire, follow them around, and
Yeah.
then just get in their circles. But I like I will make an example. I've had a friend that I made back in 2018 when I first did photography. He was one of my first photography clients. And I'm one of his friends is like this big influencer on Instagram and is like runs like social media for billionaires basically. And it's been 2 years I've been following this guy. And I just got to meet him like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Like that's a connection that I'm like, dude, this is somebody who I've been talking to every once in a while. We've never met. It's been 2 years, and like we both have things that we can help each other with. We're both like, but it's coming from a relational aspect. Like I
Yeah.
didn't go into talking with him for a transaction. It
Okay.
was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so I
That's
think
very
people,
important. Yeah. I like that.
yeah, it's like, how do you build these connections? Like, well, why are you building these connections? Do
Yeah.
you want people
Almost
just for the? Go ahead.
and especially with these high net worth people, you don't want to just come in and then just expect like give me a job or something. You want to see how you can provide value to them first. Don't
Yep.
expect anything in return. It's going to come. You just have to really put value to them first. And people always say, "Oh, put value," but it's like it's true. It's so simple, but you just can't go into any relationship, especially like with somebody who's of a high level financially or whatever it is, and just come and expecting because you're not going to get it. You're going to expect
Mhm.
something and you're not going to be willing to do anything to get that. So when you come in and you kind of just put whatever your skills are, give them whatever you can, just you got to be willing to just like almost lose it. Like just give them your time, give them like I don't want to say money, but like if it's coaching and you really like them, give them money and pay for coaching. But just find some way to get in a room, get around a circle of high level people, and then just talk with them. You never know where these connections might lead to.
There's a word I got. It's giving isn't giving if you ever wanted something back.
Mm,
You never give a gift to somebody if you actually expected something back. It wasn't a gift.
mm-hmm.
I think that might resonate for some people.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're going to give your time, if you're going to give your value of your resources, you've got to like not expect something in return, because they will feel that. I don't know
Hmm.
how like involved like you're into energy and stuff like that, but I feel like there genuinely is like some sort of energy you can kind of feel.
Yeah.
Like when you need something from the other person, like you can just, it's the vibe. Like
It's the
no one, you can't,
vibration. Yeah.
yeah, you cannot explain a vibe, but you can feel that from people. You feel like, I
Mhm.
just got a weird vibe. It's like, it's not anything they said. It's just, I got a weird vibe from them. You can't
Yeah.
shake it,
It's how they said it.
because yeah, it's like, how did they make you feel? So now we're kind of going like a little woo woo here and like a little deep with that. But like, dude, human connection, loving people, and having the right motives and being in the right environment, I think is huge,
Hmm.
because that will drive a vision. And when your vision's up here, everything else that you do will become in alignment with that vision. And then it
Hmm.
becomes like clockwork, man.
Love
Everything
it.
that you do lines up with it.
Yeah. Love it, bro. All right. Well, that concludes everything I got for you. Appreciate you sharing your story. Appreciate you diving into everything that we kind of talked about today, and taking the time to come onto the podcast.
So, man.
If people want to find you, they can find you on social media. I'll drop your socials in the comments below. I'll drop your YouTube channel as well. Do you have any websites or anything like that?
Not yet, man. Not yet. In the soon
Okay.
coming months, I'll get something for it.
Cool. Cool. All right. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro. Thanks for having me.